Ever feel like when it comes to taxes, you're just stumbling around in the dark? Like maybe, just maybe, there are all these, I don't know, secret handshakes and passwords to save a bunch of money that only the experts know.
Yeah, it's easy to feel that way.
Well, good news, you're in the right place.
We've got the flashlight.
Because today, we're diving deep, and I mean deep, into this whole world of tax optimization.
Yeah.
We're going to try and figure out, like, how to keep more of our hard-earned cash, instead of just handing it over to the tax man.
Always a good plan.
So we've got this document here, right, from a company. They're called NLFA, and they basically claim they can help, well, people like us, really, business owners, independent professionals, navigate this crazy maze we call the tax code and, like, magically unearth these hidden savings. Let's see if they live up to the hype. What do you get?
Well, let's crack it open and find out.
They really grab you from the get-go, though. You got to give them that. I mean, they hit on this idea, and I'm sure a lot of us have felt this, that we're all out here overpaying on our taxes because we just don't know any better. Like, we don't even know what we don't know about all the deductions, credits, strategies.
It's a common fear. People
Yeah.
feel like they're missing out, and honestly, a lot of times they are. The tax code, it's complicated. It's easy to overlook something that could save you a significant amount of money.
And NLFA, they're over here like, don't worry, we're the experts, we gotcha.
They're positioning themselves as that bridge over the knowledge gap, which strategically is pretty smart.
For sure. And get this, they say they've got over 50 different tax optimization strategies just like waiting in their back pocket.
Yeah.
And they claim they can whip up a custom plan using like, what, 5 to 10 of these for every single client? Sounds impressive, but is it legit? I mean, can it really be that tailored?
Well, it's crucial to keep in mind that every tax situation is unique. This isn't a one-size-fits-all kind of deal. While they throw around that big 50 strategies number, a lot of it boils down to broad categories, right? So you've got your deductions for business expenses, your home office setups, retirement contributions, and then, of course, the ever-popular tax credits. What NLFA likely does is they take a good hard look at your specific situation, your income, your expenses, your business structure, and they figure out which of those buckets, and more importantly, which specific strategies within those buckets are going to give you the biggest bang for your buck, so to speak.
Okay, so it's not like they've reinvented the wheel 50 times over. It's more about knowing those core categories inside and out and like which levers to pull for each client.
Exactly. And that's where their whole thing about working with your CPA comes in, which I think is interesting.
Yeah, they make a big point of saying they don't replace your CPA.
Right. It's more of a team effort.
So they do all the brainstorming, the strategizing, find all the potential savings, and then,
Your CPA swoops in to make sure it all gets filed correctly.
gotcha, so it's like a division of labor.
Yeah, and honestly, for a lot of people, that can be a huge relief because, let's face it, the planning part of taxes, figuring out all this stuff, it can be a real headache.
Big time.
So they take on that burden, let you leverage your CPA's expertise for the compliance part, the part that really requires a trained professional, while they focus on maximizing your savings. I can see the appeal.
Definitely. Now, speaking of maximizing savings, we got to talk about this Puerto Rico incentive they keep mentioning.
Yes, the allure of the Caribbean and a 4% tax rate. Who wouldn't be tempted?
Seriously. I mean, sign me up, right? But,
There's always a but. It's never quite as simple as it sounds.
so what's the catch?
Well, the Puerto Rico incentive, it's a real program, but to qualify, you usually have to make some major life changes. You'd likely need to relocate your business, your actual residency, to Puerto Rico.
So it's not as easy as just funneling some money through a P.O. box in San Juan.
Not quite. That said, I did notice that NLFA mentions you don't have to physically be there, which suggests they might be tapping into some of the finer points of the program, maybe establishing a business presence without full-on relocation. But that is an area with a lot of ifs, ands, and buts. It can get very complex very quickly. You'd want to be absolutely sure you've got top-notch advisors who really know the ins and outs of international tax law.
Okay, so maybe not a quick fix for everyone then.
Definitely not.
Good to know. Now, another thing they push is this whole no upfront fees thing. Like, hey, we only get paid if we save you money.
The contingency fee model, fairly standard for this type of service.
But is it, like, too good to be true?
Well, it's not inherently a red flag. You can think of it this way. It aligns their incentives with yours. They're only getting paid if they're successful in finding you actual savings. That being said, you always want to read the fine print. Figure out what percentage of those savings they take. Is there a cap on their fees? What happens if, for some reason, they don't find any savings?
Right. Makes you wonder if it's worth just, like, auditing our own taxes, becoming our own experts.
Could be a fun project.
Okay, last thing from me. They mentioned that their ideal client is, well, let's just say they're bringing in some serious dough. Someone
Mhm.
paying over $220,000 a year in taxes. That's a
Yeah.
lot. So for those of us who aren't exactly swimming in cash, does that mean all this tax optimization stuff is basically irrelevant?
Not at all. While some strategies, especially things like the Puerto Rico incentive, yeah, they might have a higher income requirement, the core principles, the fundamentals of smart tax planning, they apply no matter how much you make. Knowing what you can deduct, checking if you qualify for any tax credits, just being proactive and thinking strategically about your taxes, those are good habits for everyone.
So whether you're raking in the big bucks or just trying to hold on to every penny, there's always room for improvement.
Always. Knowledge is power, especially when it comes to something as complex as the tax code.
Hmm.
Even if you never become an NLFA client, just understanding that this kind of strategic planning is out there, that in itself is incredibly valuable.
It really makes you stop and think, right? Like, what else don't we know? What other opportunities are out there, just hiding in plain sight, waiting to be uncovered? Well, we've given you a flashlight today, and now it's up to you to go exploring.
Happy trails.
And hey, if you've got any crazy tax stories, close calls, or even just those moments where you're like, wait, I could have deducted that, share them below. We want to hear them. And until next time, happy strategizing.